Hello and welcome to Thursday night's racing review. Coming up for you tonight, 3 live meetings. Flat racing at Lingfield, where the going was standard, followed by the 2 jumps cards, firstly at Taunton, where the going was good, and finally Carlisle, where also the going was good. The first of an 8 race card at Lingfield got underway at 11:55 with a claimer run over 1.5 miles. On the heels, number 11, Have a Care, that left 11, and there were no changes. On the off, number 9, Adjacent, was 11 to 8 favourite.
They're under starters' orders, they're off.
With 1.5 miles in front of them, just a little bit slowly out of the stalls was Northwest 1. But quickly going into an early lead is Brunswick Blue. It's the blinkered Brunswick Blue taking an early lead, and followed by Nalem. That's the one in a change of colours. The favourite Adjacent is well settled, very close up in third. Then against the rails, Calm Pleasure ahead, followed by Toshiba Comet 2. Towards the outside, Sharp Top, and wider still is Billy Lohman. The back marker's absolutely right, Line Drummer, and last of all still is Northwest 1. But they're fairly closely grouped at the end of the first quarter of a mile, with Brunswick Blue continuing to take them along, followed by Nalem, the outsider, in second place. Then Adjacent 3 just ahead of Pleasure ahead 4, and after these Billy Lohman and Sharp Top. Then Toshiba Comet 2, with right against the rails Line Drummer. With those 2 as well is Absolutely Right. They've covered just over half a mile, and as they make their way right over on towards the far side, it's still Brunswick Blue and Nalem 1 and 2. Adjacent remains in third place. Then after Adjacent, Pleasure ahead with Sharp Top, Billy Lohman, and then Line Drummer. Up towards the outside, Absolutely Right, with Toshiba Comet 2. And then comes, after these, Northwest 1, and relegated to, last of all now, is Shah Emblem. This is halfway now in this Victoria Claiming Stakes, with Brunswick Blue and Michael Hill still from Nalem and Simon Whitworth. Very close now is the favourite Adjacent. Then after her, against the rails, Pleasure ahead, with Absolutely Right, Northwest 1 making ground. Billy Lohman is trying to improve as well, as they now come down inside the final half mile. And the leaders, Brunswick Blue, with on the outside and closing quite well now, the favourite Adjacent. On the inside, just in after the leaders, Pleasure ahead. Absolutely Right is going strongly as they come on down to the last 2.5 furlongs, and it's here that Adjacent strikes the front. Adjacent, the favourite, has been produced by Richard Hills to go on into the lead, and is being followed by Absolutely Right. They're at the home turn now, and approaching the last furlong and a half. Adjacent being pressed now by Absolutely Right. After these 2 in third and finishing well is Sharp Top. Down below the distance, Adjacent in the lead by just about 2 lengths from Absolutely Right. And then after those 2, Sharp Top, Pleasure ahead is fourth, the rest away back and up towards the line. And it is the favourite Adjacent, with Richard Hills taking it easily from Absolutely Right, Sharp Top and Pleasure ahead.
First, number 9, Adjacent, 11 to 8 favourite. Second, number 7, Absolutely Right, 4 to 1. Third, number 12, Sharp Top, 14 to 1. The 12.25 was a maiden event for 2-year-olds and over 5 furlongs. They all ran 8, 1 jockey change. Number 8, Shakiri, was the mount of S. Whitworth. And on the off, number 2, My Asher, was 2 to 1 favourite.
They're under starters' orders, they're off.
Shakiri gets left 2 lengths at the start. The first to go on is the favourite, My Asher taking the lead early on, and closely followed though by Wilco towards the inside. Then comes Does You Does, and after these 3, Inherent Magic. They're being pursued by Man of the Season, and then on the outside, Spectacle Jim. The last 2 are Mighty Lady, and finally the slow starting Shakiri. They're running now down to the halfway point of the race, with My Asher and Wilco still disputing it. These are first and second. Close up after these 2 is Does You Does in third. They're at the home turn now. Inside the final quarter, My Asher, the favourite, leading from on the rails. Wilco with Does You Does trying to put in a blow, and after these 3 comes Inherent Magic, then Man of the Season, Mighty Lady, Spectacle Jim. Tailed off last is Shakiri. Inside the final furlong, and it's My Asher who is going to make all the running from Does You Does in second place. And finishing very well on the outside is Inherent Magic. Inherent Magic coming to tackle My Asher. It's close. Inherent Magic may just have got there from the favourite My Asher and Does You Does.
First, number 6, Inherent Magic, 11 to 4 second favourite. Second, number 2, My Asher, 2 to 1 favourite. Third, number 5, Does You Does, at 6 to 1. The 12.55 was a claimer on over 1.5 miles. All ran 12, and there were no changes. On the off, number 1, Black Down, was the 6-4 favourite.
They're under starters' orders. They're off.
With a mile and a half to go, Red Bomber dwells at the start and loses several lengths. And it's Mr. Major, the first one to go on. Mr. Major showing the way to Swagman, being driven right up and in fact going past Mr. Major to take it up now. So it's Swagman driven into the lead, followed by Mr. Major against the rails, Crown Reserve, and towards the outside Lord Advocate. After those leaders comes Hubbard's Favourite. They come to the winning post now for the first time, having covered 2.5 furlongs, and Swagman leads by a length and a half from Lord Advocate, going second, just ahead of Crown Reserve, and then Mr. Major, Vero and Plectrum. After her, Hubbard's Favourite was Storm Orphan, and then comes the favourite Black Down, being pursued by Dazzle the Crowd, and then Hostess quickly, 1 pound over for John Williams. Red Bomber is now last of all. Out over towards the far side, they've covered half a mile, and Swagman has increased his lead. He's now 4 lengths to the good, ahead of Lord Advocate and Crown Reserve. After those come Plectrum, Vero and Mr. Major, all close together. Then Storm Orphan, Black Down and Hubbard's Favourite, and after them in the last 3, in fact, Dazzle the Crowd, Hostess quickly, and finally in 12th, Red Bomber. They're now at halfway in the Victoria Claiming Stakes, with Swagman blinkered for the first time, still leading, but leading now only by about a length from Lord Advocate and Plectrum, who's made very good ground to go right up amongst the leaders. And Lord Advocate now takes it up with Plectrum going second. Swagman loses his position on the inside as both Vero and Crown Reserve go past him. They're down now to the final half mile or so of the race, with Lord Advocate and Plectrum leading from now up towards the outside, making very good ground, Dazzle the Crowd. And then after those 3 come Crown Reserve, with Black Down the favourite making good ground, and the back marker still Red Bomber. Down past the 3 marker, with Lord Advocate on the inside, leading just from Plectrum. Plectrum possibly just the leader now as they make their way to the home turn. Coming then inside the final 2, and it's Plectrum who's got first run. Storm Orphan is with the leaders too, just in front now of Lord Advocate. So into the straight, and it's Plectrum being taken on now by Storm Orphan. After those 2, the ever-prominent Lord Advocate with Crown Reserve, then Dazzle the Crowd and Black Down the favourite, who can't possibly win this one. And it's Storm Orphan now who's gone into the lead. Dale Gibson has sent Storm Orphan on from Plectrum up towards the line, and it's Storm Orphan getting it from Plectrum, Lord Advocate and Crown Reserve.
First number 9, Storm Orphan at 20-1. Second number 10, Plectrum at 3-1. Third number 6, Lord Advocate at 12-1. The 125 was a handicap for apprentices, run over 10 furlongs. They all ran 14. There were 2 jockey changes. Number 8, Princess Roxanne, was mounted Peebo, and Alex Greaves rode number 9, Blazing Fen. On the off, number 8, Princess Roxanne, was 11-2 favourite.
They're off.
With a mile and a quarter to travel, well, they're all off except Ballerina Bay, who got badly left in the stalls and trails the field by a good 15 to 20 lengths now, Ballerina Bay. Meantime, up front, the early leaders are Miss Mirror, Chloe's Diamond, and then Carpet Slippers after them, and very prominent is Princess Roxanne. And they've now completed just about 2 furlongs of the trip, and it's Chloe's Diamond making it by half a length from Miss Mirror in 2. Then Carpet Slippers 3, Princess Roxanne 4, just 1 in a change of colours, 5 Samurai Gold. And after these, and well placed, is Tara's Delight with Smith's Peak. And then comes Go Forum with Northern Conqueror, Misty Goddess against the rails, then a gap of 3 to Blazing Fen. Then comes Go Forum. Ballerina Bay is disputing last place now with up towards the outside El Dominio. That's the order. As they come now to halfway in this Salamanca Apprentices handicap. On the inside, it's Gavin Husband with Chloe's Diamond still disputing it with Miss Mirror and Francis Norton. Then Samurai Gold. Tara's Delight has made ground to go up a close 4. After them comes the favourite Princess Roxanne, and they're now running to the final half mile of the race with the leaders still Miss Mirror in company with on the inside Chloe's Diamond, and then Tara's Delight, Samurai Gold, and just in after those comes Princess Roxanne. Chloe's Diamond is beating a hasty retreat now, trying to get on terms both Carpet Slippers and Go Forum. nearing the last 2.5 of the race, and up front Tara's Delight and Miss Mirror are joined now by Princess Roxanne. Samurai Gold very close towards the outside in 4. They come spinning off the turn now as they enter the last furlong and a half. Over against the rails is Tara's Delight, being pressed now by Princess Roxanne. So it's Tara's Delight and Darren Biggs, Princess Roxanne and Paul Bow, and it's the favourite going on now. Princess Roxanne easily quickens to go clear of the rest and is coming home in the end unchallenged to take this Salamanca Apprentice's handicap. It's Princess Roxanne and Paul Bow ease down, winning it clearly from Tara's Delight with in third Miss Mirror.
First number 8, Princess Roxanne, the 11-2 favourite. Second number 2, Tara's Delight, 7-1. And third number 5, Miss Mirror at 13-2. The 155 was a handicap run over a mile. They all ran 12 and there were no changes. On the off, number 3, Angelo's Double, and number 5, Languedoc were 3-1 joint favourites.
They're off.
1 mile this time. Pim's Classic gets a good break and takes an early lead, a narrow one though, from Scottoni going level with it and in fact going on. So after half a furlong it's Scottoni just the leader from Pim's Classic towards the inside, and with those two leaders as well is just trying to find that in the middle, it is Will He or Won't He, that's the other one. Those three all locked together, and they're being followed by Angelo's Double up towards the outside of these Polly Roll, and then comes Dance on Sixpence and Languedoc. They completed the first quarter of a mile, and the leaders, as they begin to make their way towards the final 5 furlongs of the race, on the inside now it's Clipper 1 with Scottoni, and then Angelo's Double with Walk on Sixpence, Pim's Classic and Languedoc. Polly Roll towards the outside. Wider still is Gabbiadini. They're down past the halfway point of the Corunna handicap, with Scottoni in front narrowly from Gabbiadini in second. Walk on Sixpence is there in 3 and Languedoc 4, and then comes after these Ain't Life Like That. They're coming to the last 2.5 furlongs. The leaders well grouped, with Scottoni on the inside pressed by Angelo's Double and Gabbiadini, and after them Ain't Life Like That, Languedoc, and only just in after the leaders Walk on Sixpence. Levelling up for home now into the final furlong and a half, and Gabbiadini has struck the front. It's Gabbiadini with the red blinkers going on, but in turn tackled by Languedoc, and Languedoc coming strongly on the outside. He goes into the lead up towards the line, and it's going to be Languedoc and Alan Munro stretching them now. Languedoc it is from Gabbiadini, Walk on Sixpence, and in fourth Ain't Life Like That.
First number 5, Languedoc, 3-1 joint favourite. Second number 2, Gabbiadini at 6-1. The third number 8, Dance on Sixpence at 8-1. The 225 was a handicap run over 7 furlongs. They all ran 11. There were 2 jockey changes. Number 4, State Governor, was the mount of J. Tate, who claimed £7, and Alan Munro was on number 7, the Shanahan Bay. On the off, number 9, Onivar, was 3-1 favourite.
They're under starters' orders. They're off.
7 furlongs to go, and the favourite Onivar comes out strongly. So too State Governor, and after these two very close, the Shanahan Bay. Grand Guignol is next on the inside of Spring High, and after them Pusey Street Boy, Pytchley Knight with Lucy Dancer, Halawi out wide. The last 2 are CNC and Bold Habit. That's the order after roughly 2 furlongs, with Onivar and State Governor disputing it, closely attended now by Grand Guignol. The Shanahan Bay in close attendance in 4. After them come Spring High with Pytchley Knight, and then Halawi trying to get on terms. Coming down to the final 4 furlongs now, with the leaders all closely bunched together. On the rails is Onivar. Just outside Onivar, State Governor, Grand Guignol and Spring High. They're just past halfway in this handicap, and just in after the leaders up towards the outside, Bold Habit and Halawi, and trying to close on them is Lucy Dancer as they race towards the home turn, with on the inside still and just in front Onivar. Spring High though close. Between those two is Grand Guignol, and after them Pytchley Knight with Bold Habit, and then comes State Governor with the Shanahan Bay being ridden strongly, but it's Bold Habit and Pytchley Knight. The two have gone on now into the final furlong. Pytchley Knight over on the inside and Bold Habit, these two fighting it out as they race for the line, and it's Pytchley Knight just from Bold Habit, little in it, Pytchley Knight just from Bold Habit, with the Shanahan Bay third, Spring High fourth.
First number 3, Pytchley Knight, 11-2. Second number 1, Bold Habits at 5-1. And third number 7, the Shanahan Bay at 14-1. The 255 was a maiden event for 2-year-olds on over 5 furlongs. 3 non-runners here. Number 4, Camino Aronda. number 5 Counterblast, and number 6 Indigo Blue. That left a field of 4, and there were no changes. On the off, number 2 Battle Colours was 10 to 11 favourite.
They're under starters' orders. They're off.
Only 5 furlongs this time, and the one newcomer, Walk on the Moon, was a bit slowly into her stride and trails the field in the early part of the race. Battle Colours disputes it with Jeromic, the outsider. Settled in third is Appealing Times. They've gone a furlong and a half, and up front, Battle Colours nearest the rails is matching strides with Jeromic. Then after those two, the one with the most experience, that's Appealing Times. They've got 3 furlongs to run, and as they now approach halfway in this Busaka Ridge maiden, it's Battle Colours and George Duffield on the inside of the outsider, Jeromic and Willie Ryan at the home turn now, with Appealing Times trying to get on terms with those two. Still struggling at the back of the field is the one newcomer, Walk on the Moon. Down to the distance now, and Battle Colours has gone on by 2, but Appealing Times is a real danger now, closing fast on the outside. George Duffield has to go for the stick to try and resist Appealing Times, who is closing. Appealing Times and Battle Colours, nothing in it, up towards the line. They go past together. Appealing Times and Battle Colours within third, Jeromic.
First number 1 Appealing Times, the 11 to 8 second favourite, and second number 2 Battle Colours, 10 to 11 favourite. The final race on the card, the 3:25, was a 2-year-old nursery run over a mile. They all ran 12. There were 2 jockey changes. Billy Nunes rode number 2 Sybaritic Sam, and number 12 Mystery Lad was the mount of Jay Tate, who claimed 7. On the off, Paul Cole's Lord Vivian was 5 to 2 favourite.
They're under starters' orders. They're off.
1 mile this time, away to a fairly level break, except for Lindemann, who lost a couple of lengths. And the first one to go on is KBU. It's KBU, who is showing ahead in the early stages, but closely followed by a whole group which include Jubal Early, Paperclip, Sybaritic Sam and Liability Order. Close on the heels of all these leaders is Claire Kerry Lash. She's being followed by Lord Vivian, then Dragon Spirit, and towards the rear of the field are Lady St. Lawrence with Charmony, Lindemann, and last of all in 12th place is Mystery Play. They're right over on the far side, having covered 3.5 furlongs, and Jubal Early is in front now. Jubal Early from KBU, the early leader. Then right after those two, Paperclip with Sybaritic Sam, and they're now coming to the halfway point of this Almaraz nursery. Racing downhill, where the leaders still include KBU with Paperclip towards the inside as Jubal Early weakens somewhat. Into the last 3 now. Paperclip is going on. Paperclip from KBU and now Claire Kerry Lass, and these are the 3 principals. Close up after them and improving well is Lord Vivian, and then comes Liability Order. They're at the home turn now, 2 to run. And on the inside of them, it's Paperclip with the blinkered Claire Kerry Lass. Then after her and finishing really well is Lord Vivian. They're a bit of a barging match, though, apparently between those. But it's Paperclip in front from Lord Vivian. And then comes Claire Kerry Lass, KBU, and after his Liability Order and Sybaritic Sam. But up towards the line, Lord Vivian.